The purpose of this assignment was to find a topic that we not only cared about, but we felt strongly that it was something worth talking about. As a team, we wanted to educate, help, and spread awareness for suicide and suicide prevention. We did this in many different ways, as you will learn throughout this video, but we decided to describe the warning signs of suicide. So if you notice a family member, a friend, or even a coworker experiencing certain signs, it may be time to talk to them, help them get help, or notice if they're asking for help in their own way. We also wanted to share the statistics of suicide to show that it's not something that just happens every now and then, or to people who only show really depressive or destructive sides, that it can happen to anybody. And lastly, we wanted to help open the door for conversation, that it is okay to have this feeling. It is okay to feel this way, and that there are people who care about you and want to help.
The target audience for our campaign is all SLCC students. Specifically, we're trying to reach any students who may be experiencing depression and suicidal thoughts, or know of someone who is. The student age demographic of SLCC in 2019 to 18 ranged from under 18 years old to 30 years old, according to Salt Lake Community. The gender of students are mostly female from 18 to 19 years old, but for 22 to 24-year-old, it's mostly male. The leading race for ethnicity at SLCC is white non-Hispanic students with 65.27%, followed by Hispanic with 19.91, then 3.8 for Asian, 2.19 for Black, and .073 are American Indian or Alaskan Native. Salt Lake Community College has a wide variety of clubs and sports that involve all different languages, races, and genders. There are many different ethnicities here at SLCC, and the clubs offered here are inclusive to those. Some of these are Latinx, Black Student Union, and Asian Student Association, to name a few. There are also many clubs to pertain to certain interests and career paths of our student. Salt Lake Community College has stayed diverse and welcoming to all students.
The messaging goals are that we want to spread awareness about suicide and suicide prevention and help anyone that may be going through this. We want people to know how to get help or to help others, and make people feel it is not a taboo topic to discuss. So we want to make students think that the subject is not taboo, make students feel like they are not alone and they can get help, encourage students to help people they know that are going through this. And the key messages are that we want students at SLCC to have more awareness and knowledge about suicide and suicide prevention. These are the most important things that we want them to know about. The warning signs of suicide are something everyone should be more aware of. If someone you know is showing signs of suicidal behaviors, you can get them help before it's too late. Making people aware of these behaviors is extremely important. Talking to or confronting someone about these behaviors can be very difficult. You should try to give them an opportunity to express their feelings and show them you care. If you or someone you know is experiencing suicidal thoughts or behaviors, we strongly encourage you to reach out to either Safe Utah Crisis Chat and Tip Line at 833-372-3388 or National Suicide Prevention Hotline 800-273-8255.
So in determining the channels we used for our campaign, it was very important to realize the sensitive nature of our topic. Suicide prevention is difficult to discuss, but extremely necessary and extremely effective. After analyzing what our target audience would best respond to, we decided to create and utilize 3 different channels of communication. One was self-created posters, another was a video, and the third was an article. The posters were hung around the campus so students could see them. The video depicts a day in the life of a student, which further provides prevention resources and direct help sources. It was sent to SLCC's social media to be published.
Especially now more than ever with COVID-19 going on, like we are all going through such a hard time. There's those of our peers that, struggle with suicidal thoughts and suicidal tendencies. And so I want to talk about, just for a brief moment with you, some of the things that you can do. One, if you're experiencing those things, and also if you have someone come to you and approach you and say, hey, I'm having these thoughts.
The article provides education and resources regarding suicide prevention, which was sent to SLCC Global to be edited and published on their page.
I'm here to explain our budgeting and our branding. So to start off, each team member had $5 to spend, and we had about 5 team members in our group, so it was basically $25 total that we could spend on the whole project. So in order to get our posters printed, I had to send an estimate, and some of the things that were included in the pricing were the dimensions. So that the dimensions were 8.5 times 14, and then I had to include what I wanted the poster to be made out of. So I had gloss cardstock, and then I had it trimmed to color. And then we had 21 posters printed, so in total it was $22. So we basically made under our budget, so that's a good thing. So now to explain our branding, we have our poster here. And here we have our slogan, "You are not alone." And then we have the background as the suicide awareness colors. So I have purple, yellow, and turquoise. It kind of looks like blue, but I will pass it off as turquoise. We have the Suicide Prevention Lifeline logo, and they have turquoise and purple also, and they have the number for the lifeline here. For the font, we basically kept it pretty simple. We had Arial font, and then I had the subtitles bolded, and then I also have some of this bolded also to make it easier to read. So we have suicide warning signs, and then I have it saying, talking about, and it lists some stuff, feelings, actions, and here is the column for how to help. It lists some stuff right here on how to help, and then we also provided self-care ideas. I decided to add this in the background to make it easier to read, so I have a yellow outline. And then down here I have the numbers, and we cut them up so that people were able to tear them off when they saw our posters. And this is basically the suicide prevention lifeline number.
So to give a little brief explanation about our execution on our communications campaign, we have to look specifically first at the deliverables. We decided to initially split up the work for the poster, for the article, and for the video. So it divided the work within all the group members. And then when it came to developing the content, each of the group members were able to communicate and through texting, our group message, and different means of communication. And we collaborated together of what would be best for each of those, like the content in it. When, for example, Nathan wrote the article, we were able to, all pitch in ideas, all, go in and say, hey, maybe what about this here? What about this here? And then the actual execution of the deliverables. That was the most important part. With the poster, once we got it approved and we got printing and everything Diamond just explained with branding, we were able to go around the Salt Lake Community College Taylorsville campus and put these posters in almost all the buildings. We had around 20 posters, and we were able to put a lot in the business building, a lot in the the library and the student center. When it comes to the article, we were able to submit that to Salt Lake Community College for publishing, and that is something that we're still waiting to hear back a little bit about if that would be published or not, and we really hope that it will be. With the social media video, we were able to reach out to Solid Community College social media, and they agreed to post it on their Facebook page, which they did, and we were thrilled about that. Right here, you'll see a screenshot of what that looked like on there. Now, initially, it doesn't have a huge, ginormous response to it, but it has definitely a few likes, and more importantly, is people were sharing it from the Solid Community College page. I'm looking at the statistics on YouTube of how many people viewed it too. We definitely see that it's getting views. It's not hundreds by any means, but it's definitely getting out there, and that is something we hope and we really wanted to have happen. So each of these deliverables, we were able to present and get out there, and get to our desired audience, our target audience of Solid Community College students.
What we learned and what could have been improved this semester. Well, we learned so much about suicide and suicide prevention. I know I learned that suicide can happen to literally anybody. It is a non-discriminating mental illness. It's a mental illness that, if not treated, it can then progress to the unfortunate result of suicide. We learned that though suicide has been happening for many, many years, it is still a hush topic to bring up and talk about. We wanted to be a part of the solution this semester and help break this taboo idea of suicide and get people talking for themselves or either to a loved one or a friend. And that way we can have them get the help that they need and the help that they deserve. I think one thing we had on our team that could have been improved was the ability to meet in person. But because of COVID-19, that was not able to happen, not only because it was just risky, it's just not an okay time to have everybody meet in person.
Overall, we think the project went really, really well. In terms of, our great success in it, it's really interesting to think about that. Is success can be measured in multiple different ways. But with suicide prevention, it's such a difficult topic to talk about. And I know many of the other group members have talked about this. But it's really, when we measure success in it, what matters is if it has an impact on at least one student, we've done our job. We've had that accomplishment happen. And we know that, even if it's, a small little thing of, hey, I never knew about the Safe Utah app and I know about it now. Because that message alone could have reached an individual that, 10 years down the road, all of a sudden they have a friend approach them and say, hey, I'm suicidal. And they would know how to react now. They would know, hey, let's go to the Safe Utah app. Hey, let's look at the National Suicide Lifeline. And so that's in terms of our success. We think, the fact that we see that, the video is getting shared and viewed. We know the posters are around campus. We know the article has a good chance of getting published, that we're able to spread the word and have really good success in this. And overall, we felt like it went really, really well.